Hello everybody and welcome to our new series, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Before we get started, there are a couple of things to note. One, I am playing with the unofficial Plus patch. What this means is that A, a lot of bugs have been fixed, and B, there is some content that was not originally in the game, mainly because the developers ran out of time to add it, that has been re-added to the game. There is one other thing. The audio is going to be having some problems throughout this game. Reason being is that in the audio settings, there's only one type of volume, which means all voice dialogue, all sound effects, all music are all linked to one volume. So if there's one thing that's a problem, there's not really much I can do about it. There are going to be times where characters mumble and it's going to be very quiet, or where some gunfire, especially in this episode, is going to be very loud. There's not a whole lot I can do about that, as my skills in editing don't really delve into the audio sphere beyond, removing background static. That's why subtitles are going to be up. Now, just so you know, dialogue subtitles, when you're talking face-to-face to someone, will be here on the bottom, whereas general dialogue, basically just people talking in the background or whatever, will be up here in the upper left corner, just to let you know. So without further ado, let's start a new game. The world of darkness is... and there we go. Now then, when you first start a new character, you can just go directly to this character sheet and set your clan, I'll get into that later, attributes and abilities yourself, or you can answer a series of questions about the type of vampire you would play and allow the game to create your character. Don't worry if you go through this, you can change it later if you don't like what you get, but anyways. Outside of the first question, which is determining your gender, the questions and answers to said questions change every time. Now, as anybody who's seen most of my series know, I will always play a female character. Sorry, but if I'm going to be staring at a character for several hours, it may as well be a character I enjoy staring at. You're stuck in traffic after a concert and the guy behind you is laying on the horn. Your friends in the car are urging you to park the car and help them stick the dude's horn somewhere uncomfortable. So you get out, pull the guy out of the car, and put him in the hospital, or talk your friends down. You don't need a lawsuit or jail time. Let's just talk them down. You're at a nightclub, having a good time, when you realize you're out of money. No cash, no fun. Do you seduce somebody and have them pay for your drinks? Time it just right so you can snatch a bottle when the bartender isn't looking. Go home and read a book or listen to music. Something more intellectually stimulating than wasting life in a lame club. Now let's seduce somebody. You're in an all-night pawn shop, feeling the need for some protection, but very low on cash. You can only afford to purchase one item. Is it a book entitled Kickboxing and 10 Easy Lessons? A well-worn baseball bat? A cheap Saturday night special? Let's go for Kickboxing and 10 Easy Lessons. While in a club, you spot your ex-roommate who skipped out after taking your stuff and leaving you with a stack of bills. He looks dead drunk. Do you grab him by the head and repeatedly bash his face into the bar? Call the cops. See you in court, buddy? Oh yeah. It's a lot more satisfying than just smashing their brains in. You meet somebody at a club and they took you back to their place. Things start getting interesting when all of a sudden you hear someone come in the front door. Their spouse. Do you head to the kitchen, let them see you, pretend you're a distant cousin and they were nice enough to let you stay on the couch? Gather up your clothes, hide behind the door, and slip out of the apartment as quietly as possible. Calmly explain you had no idea they were married and intend to leave and never come back, keeping your finger over the speed dial in case you need the police. I can be pretty convincing when I need to be. The world's a cruel and unforgiving place, but you've gotten by so far. Why? I live alone, I don't need others, just me, my dog, and to hell with the rest. Well, when you're as talented and attractive as I am, the world is your plaything. I live alone. See, you have been embraced by the Gangrel clan. Sometimes called nomads, loners, and introverts, the Gangrels spurn the trappings of civilization and prefer to roam the wilds in solitude. Known for having an uncanny connection with the beast within, some learn the power to shapeshift. Okay. So your vampire attributes and abilities have now been determined and entered into its character sheet, which you will see next. After your tour of the character sheet, you may make changes in characters. Okay, don't show the help text, because I will explain it as I see fit. Now, as you can see, it's already, attributed a few things around. But I'm going to show you guys the other things that we can get. The other clans. I'm kind of thinking Gangrel, but I'm not 100% sure yet. Anyways, each one has their own strengths and weaknesses. Clan Bruja, which, if you're a first-time player, is not a bad idea. It's one of the fighter clans, aka you're going to be getting your hands dirty. They get +1 to their unarmed feats, but get a -2 to all frenzy checks. I'm going to go into frenzy later on. Their powers are, because each clan has different powers or disciplines, is Celerity, which increases your movement speed, Potence, which adds supernatural strength to all melee and brawl attacks, which cannot be defended against, and Presence, which induces fear in your enemies and makes them less effective in combat. Then we've got Gangrel, which I will, may as well go over now. They get +5 to strength and stamina and wits during their frenzy, but they get -1 to all frenzy checks. As for their powers, they have Animism, which allows them to, summon different things. Night Wisp Ravens, Burrowing Beetles, Spectral Wolf, Bat's Communion, and Pestilence. They also get access to Fortitude, which greatly increases all soak feats. These are basically how much of the different types of damage you can soak up. And then there's Protean, which allows them to, shapeshift, which increases in varying ways as they go on. You get bonus to Wits and Heat Vision. Then there's Feral Claws, Will of the Wolf, Hunter of the Night, and then the War form. Then there's Malkavian, and don't worry, yes, I saw the comments telling me I'm not going to be playing a Malkavian. But anyways, the thing about Malkavians is they get +2 to Inspection, can use Dementation in Dialogue, and Insight, whatever the hell that means. I guess it's the +2 to Inspection. However, they're also insane. Basically, it means they get crazy dialogue whenever they talk. Their abilities are Auspex, which adds 1 point to Wits and Perception, reveals the aura of all living and undead within a modest distance, and that increases as, you increase its level. Then you have Dementation. The unique legacy of the Malkavian clan, Dementation channels madness and pours it into the minds of those around you. Dementation effects are covert actions. They cannot be traced back to you and carry no risk of violating the Masquerade. As you go along, it increases in its power up to Berserk Insanity. Victims go insane, attacks at random for about 30 seconds, then drops dead. May have a lesser effect on supernaturals. And then you have Obfuscate, which makes you invisible. And its effects increase, obviously, as you increase its level. You can move freely, interact with the environment, compared to level 1, where you are only invisible as long as you remain motionless. Next up, we have Clan Nosferatu. Holy shit, that is ugly. Unless you are a highly experienced player, or a complete and utter masochist, then I don't recommend playing as Nosferatu. Reason being is that their advantage is that rats give them more blood and don't run away from them. Yeah, you can drink blood from rat. Problem is, they can never be seen from humans, which means you can never take to the streets in this game. You would have to navigate through other means. You also can never raise your appearance and subterfuge, which means you can never use seduction. So, yeah. They also have animism, much like the Gangrel, Obfuscate like the Malkavian, and Potence like the Bruja. Yeah, I really don't recommend playing Nosferatu. I wouldn't know why you ever would. Then you have Clan Toreador. Their humanity shifts, aka this, are doubled, and it's cheaper to raise their humanity, which honestly I find kinda useless. And in the plus patch, they get +1 to appearance and the first level of presence in dialogue. Their disadvantage, though, is that their humanity shifts are doubled. Now, they also have Auspex, which does various things. Celerity, vampiric preternatural speed. Basically, it increases your speed much like the Bruja, and presence. The dread presence of the vampire can strike mortal fear into the hearts of opponents, rendering them, basically they're like the Bruja, except I believe Potence is replaced with Auspex. Then, up next, we have the Tremere. These guys are essentially the mages of the vampire world. Their advantages is that they have Thaumaturgy and the first level of Dominate in dialogue, but they can't raise their physical attributes above 4. They're not very hands-on fighters. They have Auspex. They also have Dominate. The superior strength of the vampiric minds allows your character to control the minds of weaker kine and even some kindred. Kine is basically, I guess, humanity. Because it's covert, it cannot be traced back to you and carries no risk of violating the Masquerade. This whole thing. I'll get into that in a bit. Then there's Thaumaturgy. It's pretty much unique to just them. Blood magic. Vampire practitioners of Thaumaturgy can bend blood to powerful and terrible ends. The effects are spectacular and obviously supernatural, and cannot be used in safe areas. Something I'll get into later on. Blood Purge, Blood Shield, you also got Blood Theft, and Blood Boil. If you want to read the details of it, you can pause it as I go over them. And lastly, we have Clan Ventru. They have full use of Dominate in dialogue, and in the plus patch start with +1 Charisma. But they can only feed from upper-class humans and not at all from rats, which means lesser humans are gonna make you sick. Yeah. They also have Dominate, Fortitude, and Presence. And you know what? Thinking about it now, I think I'm gonna go with Clan Gangrel. Now, within the character sheet, you have attributes and abilities. We have access to 3 attribute points, but we can only put 2 of them into physical and 1 into mental. There is a glitch that you can use. I'm not sure if it's been patched out. I'm not going to use it because it would be unfair, but basically, dole out your points, go into base, and use history. This is something that was added in with the plus patch, and basically these histories do different things. They change up, well, how your points can be distributed. Swap the priority of your abilities to knowledge, talents, and skills. See, as you see, we have +3 to knowledge, +1 to skills, or can put 3 into knowledge, 1 into skills, and 2 into talents. Whereas with no history, we have 2 to talents, 3 to skills, and 1 to knowledge. Maybe not a bad thing. Homosexual is a very minor thing. It changes one cutscene in the beginning of the game, but beyond that, it doesn't really do anything else. So basically, the glitch is you dole out your points, you go to your history, change it, then change it back to none, and then you have entirely new points to dole out. Again, I'm not going to do that. So, when it comes to the game itself, whenever it does a check for something, your strength, picking locks, hacking, it will not pull from this. Not directly. Instead, what it does is it pulls from your feats. Your feats are basically a combination of 2 points, one within attributes and one within abilities. For example, the lockpicking feat pulls from your security and your dexterity. Sneaking also pulls from dexterity, but pulls from stealth. So, because I have 1 point in dexterity and none in stealth, I have 1 point in sneaking, which is not very good, obviously. And this is something I'm very grateful to the developers for doing, but whenever you mouse over something, it will highlight the two attributes, the attribute and the ability that you need to increase it. Very, very handy. I'm going to tell you this right now. Haggle is kinda useless. You will be making more than enough money throughout the game that you will not need it. Trust me on that one. But without further ado, I am going to work through this, and I will see you guys once I finish creating my character. Okay then, I think I've got my character figured out. I decided to put my 2 physical points, 1 into strength, and 1 into dexterity. That's going to give me an advantage in unarmed combat, which will be useful. Couldn't do anything for social, because I'm not allowed to as a gangrel. And for mental, I decided to put it into wits, just to start getting hacking up. Probably start putting it into intelligence. As for my abilities, in talents, I put 1 into brawl. That'll increase my unarmed combat, which will be useful in the early game. And subterfuge to get my seduction up, because that's also going to be useful. Skills, I decided to go 1 in security to boost my lockpicking. And 2 into stealth, because sneaking is always going to be important. As for knowledges, I put 1 into scholarship in order to get a point in research and persuasion. You're not often going to see a ability that affects 2 different feats, so kind of important. Plus, persuasion is always useful. As for disciplines, I put a point into fortitude. The reason being is that in the end game, having the ability to increase your soak feats is going to be a godsend. Trust me on that. Oh, and word of warning, you're not going to get enough experience points throughout the game to max out both disciplines, so I recommend picking one other one early on. As for history, I looked through all of them, but I couldn't really find one that I really, really liked, so I just decided to go with the base one of homosexual, because why not? Without further ado, let's get started.
I want to show you something.
Good evening. My fellow kindred, my apologies for disrupting any business or interfering with prior engagements you may have had this evening. It's unfortunate that the affair that gathers us together tonight is a troubling one. We are here because the laws that bind our society, the laws that are the fabric of our existence, have been broken. As prince, I am within my rights to grant or deny the kindred of this city the privilege of siring. Many of you have come to me seeking permission, and I have endorsed some of these requests. However, the accused that sits before you tonight was not refused permission. Indeed, my permission was never sought at all. They were caught shortly after the embrace of this child. It pains me to announce the sentence, as up to tonight I considered the accused a loyal and upstanding member of our organization. But as some of you may know, the penalty for this transgression is death. Know that I am no more adjudicator than I am a servant to the law that governs us all. let tonight's proceedings serve as a reminder to our community that we must adhere to the code that binds our society, lest we endanger all of our blood. Forgive me. Let the penalty commence. Which leads to the fate of the ill-begotten progeny. Without a sire, most childer are doomed to walk the earth never knowing their place, their responsibility, and most importantly, the laws they must obey. Therefore, I have decided that...
This is bullshit!
If Mr. Rodriguez would let me finish. I have decided to let this kindred live. They shall be instructed in the ways of our kind and be granted the same rights. Let no one say I am unsympathetic to the plights and causes of this community. I thank you all for attending these proceedings, and I hope their significance is not lost. Good evening.
Oh yeah, that's the reason you're letting me live.
Your sire, tragic, my apologies. But you see, there is a strict code of conduct that all of us must adhere to if we wish to survive. When anyone breaks these laws, they undermine the well-worn fabric of our centuries-old society. Understand my predicament. Allowing you to live makes me directly responsible for your subsequent behavior. So, what I'm offering is not generosity, but the opportunity to transcend the fate woven by your sire. This is your trial. You will be brought to Santa Monica. There you will meet an agent by the name of Mercurio. He will provide the details of your labor. I've shown you great clemency. Prove it was more than a wasted gesture, fledgling. Don't come back until you do. Good evening.
Well, that whole evening escalated very quickly. There's just some basic controls, moving the camera, blah blah blah. Don't need to know that. It's fairly standard. Now then, a couple of things you should know is that the 3 disciplines in the character sheet are not the only ones you get. You also get blood buff that is shared among all of the clans. That basically gives you a buff to, if I recall correctly, strength, dexterity, and stamina, though you can never level up blood buff. There is also blood heal if you are playing with the plus patch. It basically does exactly as it says, it heals you. Now granted, all of that costs blood, but we're going to get into that in a moment. Because right now we're going to meet one of my more favorite characters.
What a scene, man! Woo-wee! Then they just plop you out here like a naked baby in the woods. How about that? Look, kiddo, it's probably a lot for you to take in, so why don't you let me show you the ropes? What do you say?
Who are you?
I'm Jack. What's important is I'm offering help. You make it back from Santa Monica with your hide and we'll trade life stories, okay? Till then, I got about this much time. You in or out?
Now, you can skip this tutorial, but if you do that, you'll be missing out on some free items. So, even if this is the 100th or so time you've played through the game, I still recommend going through it just to get those items for free. Okay, I could use the help.
Alright. Why don't we, step out back here?
I like it where I am. At least I'm out of that theater.
Christ, it's stuffy in there, huh? This is much better. Now, we ain't got much time, but I figure somebody should fill you in on the bare bones stuff at least, you know. Could save your hide. You look wobbly. You even had a drink yet?
No.
Oh, man, we're popping a cherry here. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, you're gonna love this. All right, check it out. Blood, it's your new rack of lamb, your new champagne. Blood, your new fucking heroin, kid. Get ready, though, because, hey, it's never as sweet as the first time.
What do I do?
Well, down around the corner there, I saw this human. Poor SOB can't find his car.
So, what do I mean,
All right. You go down there, casual like. You creep up on him. You bare those little fangs and feed. Don't worry if you weren't captain of the wrestling team or something, because it'll come so naturally you think you've done it 1,000 times already.
won't he become a vampire then?
Forget that comic book crap, kid. It don't work that way. Now go for it. Be sure, though, and this is important, so listen up. Be sure not to drain him dry, okay? It might be hard to resist, but don't kill him.
Alright. This is your blood pool, that meter on the right I was talking about. Blood is fuel for your vampiric powers, or disciplines. When your blood pool is low, you need to refill it. Humans are an abundant source of blood in most areas of the game. One is in the alley around the corner. Word of advice: make sure nobody else is around when you drink somebody's blood. Feeding on humans fills your blood pool. To feed, approach the victim and press the feed key, in my case the default is F, when you are close. It is important that humans do not see you feed on other humans, like I said. Once you have begun feeding on your victim, you will see this bar appear. This represents your victim's blood pool. You should stop feeding before emptying his blood pool and killing him. Otherwise you lose humanity, which, by the way, I should go over. Humanity. Although monsters by nature, most vampires cling to humanity to survive in the mortal world. Humanity is the ability to keep your predatory nature at bay and your first line of defense against frenzy. If you cause the death of an innocent human, you will lose humanity. You will frenzy more often if your humanity is low. Frenzying isn't exactly a good thing, but it's also not difficult to keep your humanity high. So as long as you're not going around slaughtering people, you're not going to have any problem with frenzying. Unless you try to use blood that exceeds the amount you have left. Should be able to get our fill without killing this guy. Yep. You're going to want to get as much as you can out of them, but be very careful. Make sure you leave some left so that's just in case there's a bit of a delay, you don't accidentally kill the person.
Yeah. Ah, yeah. Hell yeah, you're feeling it. I can see it in your eyes. You're a born-again predator. Feeling that blood bubbling inside you, lifting you up. That's it, kid. That's what it's all about right there.
Great. When do I get my cape? Do I get to pick the color?
All right, now. You got the blood, you're feeling all kick-ass, feeling better than your best day living, but wait, it gets better. All kindred, that's our word for vampire. All kindred have a few things in common. Things that set them right square above humans on the food chain.
Yeah? Like what?
Like sharper senses, a body that can take a beating, and if you play your cards right, eternal life. That's no sure bet, but still, a chance at immortality is not a bad deal. And that's just for starters. Fringe benefits for joining the club.
So I'm going to live forever.
Well, you can still be destroyed, but forget the books and the movies. Garlic, it's worthless. A cross? Pfft, shove it right up their ass. A stake? Only if it catches you in the heart, and then it just paralyzes you. Running water? That's no problem. I bathe. Occasionally. Now, a shotgun blast to the head. Oh, that's trouble, boy. Fire? That's real trouble. Sunlight? Well, you catch a sunrise and it's all over, kiddo. Get it?
Got it.
Okay, now. The fuck is this?
See, that's some of the audio problems I was telling you about.
Look, you get inside here and head upstairs. We'll meet up in a minute. I'm just gonna go see what the ruckus is.
You do that. Past our time limit, but I'm gonna keep going till we at least get to Santa Monica. At the bottom of your screen is the use icon. This icon represents when you are able to use the object in front of you. Yeah, default key is E. The use icon is context sensitive, that is, it will look different depending on the object you can use. In this case, a door that can be opened. Now then, there are going to be some mild parkour elements in this game. I highly recommend switching over to the third-person camera for this because, well, trying to jump around in a first-person view is not easy. Your feats are the combination of your various abilities and attributes. As I explained, the higher your feats score, the better you are at the activities they influence. Inspection is a feat. It is a combination of perception and investigation. It allows you to see hidden and secret things. For example, the lockpicks on the crate in front of you. You can find your feats listed on the right-hand side of your character sheet. Pick up certain objects in the world. Yeah, you're close enough. Use the use key. Great. This is one of the items I was talking about that you're going to want to go through the tutorial to get. There's only one kind of lockpick, so you don't have to worry about getting, say, a master lockpick. So once you got that, you're good.
Come down here.
Word of warning. There is going to be some gunfire in this cutscene that's going to be a little loud, so if you're wearing headphones, turn down the volume now.
From the window. Oh, it's a Sabbat raid. Sabbat, they're, Christ, I was going to spare you this shit till later. The Sabbat, well, they're mostly mindless, bloodthirsty assholes. That's all you need to know for now, alright?
So what's up?
The Sabbat got wind of the gathering here, so they figured they'd raise a little hell and put a little heat on the new prince.
What's the prince? A prince? Oh.
No time for political rundown. Job one, get out of here alive. Sabbat might be mindless, but they hit like a Mack truck, like raging savages. Nothing a fledgling like you wants to mess with.
What am I supposed to do?
Shh. Heads up. Back away.
Well, that wasn't intimidating in the slightest. Certainly not foreshadowing anything.
Dumb, frenzied Sabbat bastards. Alright, we gotta vamoose out the back quick. I'll stay and keep a watch out. You get us into the office. The door's around the corner here.
Got it. Let's see, access your quest log by pressing the quest log key, default L. Quest log contains information about your quests as well as any notes and instructions you will need to complete them. That's going to be important, so there are going to be times when you need to read through that. When the door is locked, you will see this use icon. Lockpicking, a combination of dexterity and security, is a feat that helps you open locked doors with a lockpick. Once you've begun lockpicking, you will see this bar. It represents the time needed to pick the lock. The value of your lockpicking feat is equal to or greater than the difficulty of the lock you will be able to pick it. And if it isn't, then you can always use blood buff to increase your dexterity. Thankfully, though, all of this stuff is easy.
Shortcut. Well, nicely done, though. Not exactly an angel in life, were you?
I had my moments.
Cool. Now, if you want a lesson on how really not to act, take notes from those Sabbat assholes. You're a big bad vampire. Yeah, great, congrats. Now keep it to yourself. You go roar and you beat your chest, and that's what you can expect.
Wait, I still got that list of people from high school. Why not?
It's the same reason you don't let humans see you feeding. It's why the wolf doesn't want the sheep to know he's there. It's also why you don't go juggling dumpsters or outrun the 815 from Sacramento, and it's why you didn't know any of this when you woke up this morning.
Oh, by the way, something I forgot to mention. That little cutscene at the beginning where your sire was female, that's the only effect of the homosexuality history. Like, seriously, that's it. Ah, I get it.
Keep our secret secret and you make things easier on all of us. We're living in the age of cell phone cameras. Fuck-ups ain't tolerated. Makes sense enough, right? Well, it ain't a casual thing for a fledgling like you.
What do you mean? What could happen?
That party back there with the guy in the suit and the Magilla Gorilla? The assholes that put your sire to death? That's the Camarilla. They make a tidy business out of enforcing vampire laws like this one.
I see.
Alright, now don't worry, because I know the area. You know what? I'm glad we're in this situation, you and I. It illustrates a point. You gotta utilize your surroundings.
Okay, but what does that mean exactly?
You do what you gotta do. Theft, destruction of property, breaking and entering. These will be the least of your sins before the night's out. So look around here. We gotta get out the back there through that magnetically sealed door. There must be a key someplace.
I'll find it. Okay, this is an area indicator right above your health bar. The icon to the left indicates that you are in a combat area, i.e. the gun. When you're in a combat area, pretty much anything goes, with a few exceptions added by the plus patch. But anyways, you need to use a power, use a power. Gotta rip somebody's throat out, rip somebody's throat out. When you're in a Masquerade, which is pretty much the majority of the areas you're gonna be in, be very careful. There are some powers you can use while in the Masquerade area, but not all of them. Don't go around killing anybody unless you absolutely have to, and, well, just don't get caught. In Elysium, vampire neutral ground. No combat or disciplines are allowed except blood buff while lockpicking. In Masquerade areas, breaking the Masquerade can carry dire consequences, such as the unwanted attention of vampire hunters. After 5 Masquerade violations, your game is over. Your current number of violations is displayed in the upper right corner of your character sheet. Basically, these masks right here. There are some ways to gain Masquerade redemptions, i.e. increase the number of violations you can have before you get screwed over. But, as long as you're not a complete idiot in Masquerade areas, it shouldn't be too much of a problem to keep this high. You just gotta be careful. Now, let's see, when you can read a note. Readable notes can be various items like clipboards, newspapers, and letters. To read the note, yes. Now, the keycard we need is in the safe, but we can't simply lockpick it, and there's no safe cracking skill, unlike the previous series. We can hack this computer. See, computers are often helpful in solving quests. They can hold information like emails and files, as well as control various electronic devices. Many menus and commands will be password protected. Hacking, a combination of wits and computer, is a feat that allows you to hack into password protected items. You will be prompted to press Ctrl-C to attempt your hacking feat. If the value of your hacking feat is equal to or greater than the difficulty of the encryption, you will be successful. Now, we could hack it, and chances are we will get through, or we could just read this note, which will tell us the password. Chop Shop. Now, you'll be able to figure out pretty early on if your hacking isn't going to work, because you'll just start getting random letters. But if you start making a word, well, then you'll know it succeeds. Now, it doesn't automatically enter the password just because we know it, so you gotta enter it manually. Bingo. And then we unlock the safe, head to home, and quit. Yes, for containers. And bingo, we got the key.
There we go. Now take that keycard and head out the back. I'll meet you out in the alley there. I'm gonna check out things from topside.
Got it. Inventory keys, default I. Keys are located in the equipment category on a key ring. Most keys, once used, will not be needed again and are removed. Some doors have magnetic locks and cannot be picked open. They must be opened with the appropriate key card. Yeah, basically this is your key ring. This shows you where you got all your keys, lockpick, wallet. Your wallet is empty, baby. You're so broke you can't even afford to pay attention. You also have things for weapons. Well, melee weapons, firearms, armor, but in this case we only have clothing. And that's about it. There's also going to be random items we can pick up, but I'll get into that when we get into it. Thanks for the save, Jack. You've been wounded by the Sabbat. The blue bar represents your current level of health. As you sustain regular damage, it will turn black. If your health is completely depleted, you suffer final death and your game is over. Your health regenerates over time when you are feeding. When you are feeding, your health regenerates much faster. So you can regenerate health by drinking blood. Good thing to keep in mind. If your health bar begins to turn yellow, it means you have sustained aggravated damage. Certain hazards like fire and supernatural attacks cause aggravated damage. This takes much longer to heal than regular damage. Good to know.
Fucking waste of unlife, these Sabbat vatos. You get winged? Hey, look at them potholes. Those will close up soon enough. Better feed, though. There's someone down the stairs here. It's not the freshest catch, but he'll do.
What's the difference? Blood's blood, right?
Now, when it comes to feeding, it's quality blood you're looking for, not the quantity. Bums and lowlife don't pack the same punch that a healthy, well-bred human will. Juice bags with a pedigree. That's the good stuff. But you gotta take what you can get. You ever had a PhD, kid? Ooh, that's good stuff.
If you say so.
Remember what I said, though. Don't kill them. At least not the innocent ones. You're a monster now. Make no mistake. One of the damned and the fallen. You need to hold on to every last shred of humanity you have.
Let's say I get a little overzealous. What happens then?
An innocent's an innocent. You kill one, even a worthless bum, even by accident, and it's gonna cost you a piece of your own humanity. Bring you closer to that beast you got welling up inside you.
Beast? What exactly does that mean?
The beast? It's always there. It's waiting to take over. When it does, it's like a wild animal wearing your skin. Desperate, scared, reckless. He'll do anything to survive, and it's you that has to deal with the consequences.
So I can't kill anyone? That seems a little, restricting.
I said innocent humans. If some asshole levels a 12 gauge your way, you drain him, skin him, and bash in his skull. Self-preservation is a vital part of humanity, after all. My favorite part, in fact.
I think I follow.
The only way to fight the beast is to keep in touch with your humanity, and don't go hungry. It's a fine line.
Got it.
All right, now go feed. Careful, though. He's gonna drain fast.
Be back in a minute. Yeah, basically what he said is pretty much true. Your blood bar gets empty, you're gonna frenzy. Something else happens, I'm not sure what because I've never seen it, you're gonna frenzy. And when that does happen, you lose all control of your character. They're just gonna do whatever they damn well please. Remember, you want to avoid draining your victims. Draining innocent humans will give you a penalty to your humanity. The lower your humanity, the closer you get to the beast. If your humanity gets too low, you'll begin to lose control of your character. This is known as frenzying and may result in a Masquerade violation if you are around humans. But, something else he also said, if somebody's trying to kill you, anything goes. Drain them dry, kill them, etc., etc., etc.
Not quite as good, huh? Nah, you could do worse. There's some rats down the way. You think I'm kidding? You can survive feeding on animals if you can stomach that kind of thing.
I think I still got some threads between my teeth.
Well, give it a try.
I'll think about it. Rats can be fed upon to gain a single blood point. You will find some rats at the other end of the alley near the yellow windows. Killing rats has no impact on your humanity score. Humans don't react well when they see live rats being sucked on. You know what, I think I might pass, but I also think I don't have a choice. Oh.
You rat sucker. Hey, I don't care what you do, but just so you know, polite vampire society looks down on that kind of thing.
After tasting one of those, I don't blame them.
Keep it down. Got someone around the way here.
Just one guy?
Not too much of a threat by himself, but you never know if there's more in shouting range. You're gonna have to sneak past.
Sneak where?
The building across from us with the garage door. There's some double doors on the far side. I'll meet you inside. Just stay low and stick to the shadows, and don't let him see you.
I'll do my best. See you in a minute.
Alright, go.
Gone. Sneaking is a combination of dexterity and stealth. That's why I boosted them. It is a feat that allows you to move among your victims and enemies without being detected. You must be crouched to sneak. You can crouch by pressing the crouch key, default control. The meter to the left indicates the proximity of your enemies and their chances of detecting you if they are looking your way. Green means you are completely safe, yellow means you might be seen, and red means they will see you if they look in your direction. An enemy's chance of detecting you is directly tied to your sneaking feat. If you are detected, your enemies will often say as much and come to investigate. So basically, green, you're pretty much invisible. They're not going to see you. Yellow, there's a chance they could see you, and red basically means you so much as flinch, and they're gonna see you. As you can see, there's also a number tied to that, so yeah. I just gotta wait for this guy to go the other way, and then sneak by. By the way, this is a game where you're going to want to be doing a whole lot of quick saving. Trust me, it's not easy, and auto-saving only occurs when going through a loading screen.
Keep it quiet. They're inside here. Seems that shovelhead outside just got separated from his pack. He's wounded, too. Go take care of him. Don't worry, he's probably greener than you.
That's pretty green.
Sabbat, you see, they don't have the most rigorous training program. In fact, that poor sod is lucky if he knows he's a vampire.
How can that be?
He's probably just turned and beaten over the head. They like to do that, make shock troops, cannon fodder, put him out of his misery.
Sounds good. I've got a little frustration I need to work out.
He is a vampire, so be ready.
I was born ready.
Go get him.
I'm on it. To engage in unarmed combat, you need to equip your fists and then attack. To equip your fists, press the melee weapons key, default F1, until your fist icon is highlighted in your melee weapons inventory, then click the left mouse button. Yeah. Your unarmed combat feat is a combination of strength and brawl. It directly affects your success in unarmed combat. There are different attacks depending on what direction you are moving when you initiate your attack. Try different combinations of moving and attacking in the upcoming battle. You can also block your enemy's attacks by holding the attack mode key, default tab. Put your fists away, press the holster weapon, default H. And you'll automatically go to first person, or third person, when you've just picked up a tire iron, basically equip it the same way you equip your fists. But to be honest, I'm probably going to be sticking to my fists for a while. See, this indicates the weapon you currently have equipped. For ranged weapons, there are numbers indicating your current reserves of ammunition. Later on in the game, you will find armor to protect yourself. Yeah.
That's that. Sounds like you got another pack moving in, though. The Sabbat are going all out. You better head underground, avoid straight bullets.
Sounds like a good strategy.
Alright, head down into the basement through the grate in there. Keep that tire iron handy. I'll be there in a minute.
We don't need no stinking tire irons, and I just accidentally used blood buff. Because of course. Yeah, good thing to keep in mind is that you're gonna wanna be very careful with the right mouse button. I've had times where I've accidentally used powers I shouldn't. Combat is not the only solution for sticky situations. You can also use your feats and disciplines in dialogue. When you are able to do this, your responses will show up in different colors, and when using higher resolutions, different fonts that are indicated below. Blue is persuasion, pink is seduction, green is intimidation, and if you had the ability to do so, there's like presence or dominate that is red. But that costs blood to use.
Stop! You! Just stay back. Keep your distance.
A little late
Now,
for that.
who the hell are you? You involved in all this? Because I'm gonna radio this in, and SWAT will be all over this place.
No, but if SWAT comes, they'll drive the gunman down here. You want that?
No. Well, I left my radio in a Caprice anyway.
Look, I'm just trying to escape. Is there another way out?
Yeah, okay. Alright, this way. This'll lead us up to the warehouse. We can maybe sneak out that way.
Something tells me this wasn't recorded in the studio. Better stay here. It's too dangerous for you. And that gets us some humanity. Like I said, it's very easy to gain humanity freely. Oop, we got Sabat. Let's see if we can't sneak up on him. When you're in position to perform a stealth kill, you will see this icon. Stealth kills have the advantage of being silent. To perform a stealth kill, equip your fists or a melee weapon, crouch and sneak up behind your victim until you see the stealth kill icon, then you press the use key. When you are on higher stealth levels, the attack key. Careful, careful, and neck snap.
Not sure what's going on. Sounds like the Sabat's getting scattered. I'm gonna keep an ear to the ground. Be careful going forward here. Could be a whole mess of them holed up.
Great, just my luck. See, disciplines are your vampiric powers, and see, cost a certain amount of blood for your blood pool to activate. An innate ability, common to all vampires, is Blood Heal, which heals you. This icon indicates the power you have currently selected. There are two kinds of disciplines: passive disciplines that directly affect you, and targeted disciplines that directly affect your enemies. Blood Buff is another ability, temporary bonus to all your physical attributes, useful in a variety of situations, so on and so forth. The fact that it's telling us this, however, means... Oh, never mind. Gangrel have three unique disciplines: Animalism, the supernatural control of nature; Fortitude, preternatural toughness and constitution, that's going to be important; and Protean, the manifestation of different bestial abilities and forms. I haven't decided whether or not to go for Protean or Animalism. I'm kinda leaning towards Protean. Fortitude is a passive discipline. It is also time-based. Once activated, pay attention to the discipline timer on the bottom right of your screen. Use of Fortitude is not a Masquerade violation. There's a Sabat guard up ahead. Use Fortitude to armor yourself and kill him. Got it. Just use the scroll wheel to select it and then right-click to use it. Now, if you got a guy on the ground, I recommend using back and attack in order to do some sort of elbow drop on him.
I think they're clearing out. There's no need to go stirring up the hornet's nest till we know the score, though. Head through here and come to an elevator around the way.
I'll meet you over there.
Meet you there. Don't let them catch you.
If I'm not there in 10 minutes, call the president. Protean is the vampiric power of manifesting different bestial abilities and forms. Protean is a passive discipline. Once you activate it, pay attention to the discipline bar. Use of Protean is a Masquerade violation if you are seen using it in a non-combat area. Let's see, you have a level 1 Protean known as Gleam of Red Eyes. Yeah, it doesn't really do much. It gives you a bonus to Wits and Heat Vision, but that's about it on the first level. Could be useful for sneaking around, but beyond that, until we level it up, not much else. Animism, is the mystical vampiric power that controls nature. Animalism is a targeted discipline. The effect and its length varies with each level. There's a guard up ahead. Use Animism to incapacitate him and pass by. Or I could just kill him. Well, I kinda have to go around in order to see him. Seriously. probably for the best considering that you don't actually get experience points for killing enemies. Come on, get over to investigate, big guy. And goodbye.
Fucking humans. Gangbangers protecting their turf. Oh, man. I'm here thinking it's Sabat moving up in here. It's the fucking locals about to take one for the hood.
So what do we do?
They probably seen too much. Here, take this 38. Fucking pea shooter, but a few shots in it will take down a human.
Thanks.
Well, I'm gonna want it back, so don't go die and lose it. I don't use guns much. They're noisy, they're clumsy, practically useless against vampires, but still, a kindred's gotta keep up with the times. And in modern-day Los Angeles, that means coming strapped.
Useless against vampires.
Well, yeah, some are more lethal than others, of course. Watch out for those shotguns. Ouch, those things can smart, I tell you.
I hear ya.
Head up and clear out what's left of them. Can't have them running their mouths about any of this. I'm gonna make sure there's no stragglers around outside.
You do that, Jack. You've just been given a revolver, already know how to equip it. Ranged combat is a combination of perception and firearms. Now, I'm not going to be very good with this, primarily because I haven't invested anything in it, but I do recommend in the mid to late game you do some investing into ranged combat. Because mid to late game guns are fairly useful and are going to be needed. Now, there was originally a glitch that you could use to get a ton of ammo, but in the plus patch and the unofficial patch, it's been removed. As you can see, not too accurate. Well, may as well grab these rats because I do need a little bit of blood. Trust me, sometimes when you go through various dungeons, because it's going to be like that, you may have only rats available to drink from. Come out wherever you are.
Where you going then?
Don't forget to pick up the baseball bat, and don't pick up the gun from this guy if you want a gun later on. Or a gun for later. Personally, I'm really not going to need it, but may as well. Because unless you have some good persuasion, Jack's going to take the gun.
That's it, kiddo. Just like that, and it's all over. Everyone slinks back to their corners of the city for the night.
That's it? It's all over?
Until the next night, when the Camarilla finds some way to strike back. Parry, dodge, spin and all that, and so on, and so on, and so on.
So this is normal.
Well, to be honest, you came at an interesting time, let's say. The Camarilla, the Sabat. Now, in LA, these are the new kids on the block. There's already plenty of Kindred had stakes down in California long before them. Now, we got every ancient Kindred rivalry playing out all over the city. A lot of tension out there. A lot of fear. A lot of jittery, high-strung predators clinging to their little pieces of eternity. Oh, boy. Oh, I think they're looking for you outside. Guess you got a cab to catch. Was hoping to fill you in on a little bit more, but... hell, you'll figure it all out.
Sure, and here's your gun.
If you make it back, stop in at the last round. It's this bar downtown here. I'll fill you in on the politics. Now that's the stuff that'll kill you. Good luck.
I'll see you there after I got a good day's sleep. And then if we quickly can, grab the other gun. And fade to black. You've received 2 experience points. By pressing character editor key, default C, you can access your character sheet and spend your experience points where you see fit. Yes, experience points don't work as they typically do in modern RPGs. You don't gain X amount, level up, and gain some points you can spend. Instead, XP acts more as a currency that you use to purchase upgrades. Kinda like how it works in West of Loathing if you're not using auto-leveling. Unspent experience points will stay in your available experience pool. So don't worry about having to spend everything, you're not going to lose them. But with that, we have gone well over our time limit for this episode. So, if you guys like what you see so far, please leave a like, subscribe for future content. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notifications for when I'm uploading, or when I upload, or to hit the straw poll link to vote for our next Let's Play. And please, leave a comment down below this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.